Hi and welcome. So this will be a yin practice for like outer hip, but also like inner thigh opening. And I don't know, maybe I'll just feel good all over kind of the lower body area after this would be my hope. And we'll just get to it. So maybe some blankets or blocks. I'm going to try not to use any props during this, but I'll show you how to use them in case you would like to. All right, so we'll start in child's pose. So knees wide, big toes touch. Sit your hips back. So if you want props here, well, first you can be up here. That's fine. Or you might take a bolster or a blanket on top of the calves so that the sits bones can sit back comfortably. And then with the hands, feel free to walk them out as far as you can and take your forehead down. Your elbows are also down. And this may not work for you. So other things that you could do would be to cross your forearms or stack your fists or take a block underneath your head. So choose what works for you and we'll just settle in. And so once you find the pose, just let the hips be heavy, jaw soft. Your belly just hangs between the thighs. You can send the breath to your back body. So as your belly expands on the inhale, you also breathe into the back. And take in one more inhale. And exhale. And then walk your hands up nice and slow. Eyes open. And we will move on to our backs. So come on down to your back. You can have your feet down on the mat with the knees up. And then we want to lift the hips, and you can grab the sides of your hips, like your waist. You want to press your pubic bone down toward the floor, like you're almost tucking your tail to create an arch in the lumbar spine. And then take the sits bones down. Little tuck of the chin so the back of the neck is long. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh and press your right knee forward. So what we want to watch for here when we perhaps reach through the gap and bring the shape closer to our chest is that the side between the on the left, the pelvis, the hip, and the bottom of the ribs doesn't shorten. We want to keep that long as we do this stretch. So you might try seeing what happens when you hard flex this ankle that's lifted and start to lift the shape without bringing your hands through. So it's a lot of strength to do that, right? And some mobility here. And then maybe reach between that gap and interlace the fingers behind the thigh, as long as your chin doesn't start to just totally lift up. So keep the chin a little bit tucked. You might even have a strap behind the thigh, and you want to keep, you could take your thumb to this hip crease and press it away from your shoulder, pressing it forward. That'll keep the lumbar spine intact. Maybe even give you a deeper stretch here. Let this left foot just hang out. Maybe close your eyes. If you like, you might rock the shape a little bit to the left so you get that deeper opening in the right hip and glutes. And then just soften everything. Still pressing your pubic bones. Think about where you pee forward, like you're trying to aim your pee onto the mat, not to your belly. It's kind of the best way I can describe it, even though it's kind of a weird thing to say. Inhale. Exhale. And then slowly release the left foot down and unhook the right. You could take your knees a little side to side. And then we'll switch. So the left ankle crosses over the thigh and the left knee presses forward. And maybe just try to lift the shape without reaching through and just forcing it. Hard flex on this top foot. This right foot here just hangs out. Maybe you shift a little bit toward the right. Soften the back of the shoulders down. Keep your jaw soft. Breathe into the opening. That left side, left outer hip, left glutes. Making sure you have a little room between your low back and your mat. A few more rounds of breath as the sensation builds. Stay steady with your breath. Inhale big. And exhale. Slowly release, bring the right foot down, followed by the left. And then just take the knees a little side to side. And then knees straight up. Now we're going to take tree pose on our back. So you'll extend your left leg nice and long. You can sneak up the inside of the right foot to the inner thigh or calf, or maybe even ankle. And then open the knee to the right. We still want that little lift in the lumbar spine. Tuck your chin. You can have your arms out to the sides, up overhead, or crossed on the belly. We'll take about 7 rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your right knee up. And then go ahead and extend your right leg long next to the left. Notice the difference between the sides. Bend the left knee and have the inner sole of the foot to the thigh. And then open the knee up to the left. Little arch underneath the low back, little tuck of the chin, face is soft. Smooth, steady breath. Couple more rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale. And bring the left knee back up. And take the left leg nice and long. And then one knee at a time. And toward the chest. And you can roll off to one side or gently rock up to a seat. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is come up to standing. And just go nice and slow since we're down there on our back for a little bit, and take your feet wide, wider than your shoulders. And then you'll turn your feet out, bend your knees. And you try to have your thighs be parallel with the mat. That may or may not happen. And you can rest your hands here on the inner thighs, or you could take the heels of your hands on the top of the thighs so the fingers drape over, and you press your knees back. Try to turn your tailbone down. And then just breathe. A little adductor opener. Sit a little bit lower, building some heat. One more inhale. And exhale, straighten the legs. Okay, turn the toes in. You could have the sides of your feet parallel with the shorter edges of your mat, or maybe even turn them in a little bit. And then take your thumbs to the hip creases and press them way back. So you want your butt to go back, your chest to come forward, and the top of the thigh, the top of the femur bone to line up with the ankle. So typically we need to shift forward a little bit for that to happen. And then hinging at the hips, you let the head drop. And I always like to take a block here in case my head doesn't want to make it down to the floor today or my mat. Just rest the top of your head there, whatever height works for you. And then you'll settle in here, not too long, probably about 30 seconds. So find what works for you and then just start to breathe. Lift up from your tailbone and press down into the outer edges of your feet. One more inhale and exhale. Have your hands come underneath the shoulders, thumbs to the front of the hips, and then come up nice flat back. And you can kind of heel toe the feet together and come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Just take a moment here. Okay, so now we're going to come back down to our mats. And you'll have an option on this one. So you could either take Sukhasana. You could either take Sukhasana with a blanket or two underneath your sits bones. You come into a cross-legged seat. We just want the knees to be lower than the top of the hip. Mine are probably even. And then from here, you can just walk your hands forward at the head. You could offer support underneath the forehead if you like. And if this doesn't feel like any kind of opening for you, you can uncross the legs and lean back and then just cross the right thigh over the left and take Gomukhasana legs. So you have the knees stacked here. Good. Ankles extended. And then this could feel like plenty. Just make sure the knees are lined up. You can shift forward, lift the booty, and slide your sits bones back. Keep the sits bones grounded as you make your way down. Deepen the stretch or you stay up.
Keep your sits bones heavy. Knees stacked. Forehead soft. Take about 6 more rounds of breath. Use steady breath. Breathing through sensation. Big breath in. Exhale out. And then if you're not already sitting upright, go ahead and do that. And we'll switch. So you can come to your cross leg stretch. This time the left leg in front or whatever side you didn't do. Or you can sit back a little bit, cross the left thigh over the right, and come into Gomukhasana on the other side. Making sure you stack as many blankets as you need. One side definitely tends to be more flexible than the other on most bodies, everyone I know. You can lean forward, lift the booty a little bit, and sit back. And then stay here. You could press the knees down, sit up straight, or walk your hands forward. And just settle in. Sits bones like lead. Upper body soft. Let's see if there's any part of your body that is tensing up. Maybe it's your face or your jaw. Perhaps your knees can be a little bit heavier. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your hands up so the spine becomes tall if it's not already. And then you can set the blocks aside. And take the legs out in front. And just maybe wobble the knees a little bit. And then bend the right knee. And the sole of the feet is down on the mat. And then you would have a flex on the left foot. You could always cross the foot over the thigh if you felt like that might be an option. And then you can wrap the left forearm around the shin. I like to twist by even taking my belly and just kind of dragging it over. And then the right hand can sneak back behind you. Bringing that arch back into the spine, lifting the spine in and up. Maybe taking the gaze back to the right. Inhale, grow tall through the crown. Exhale, release the breath. Slowly unwind and unhook. Bend the left knee, the sole of the left foot comes down. You could take your hands next to the hips, lift them and slide them back. So definitely okay to take your twist from here, or you might cross the foot over thigh, and then take the right arm around the shin, knee in, and the hand sneaks back, gaze back. Sitting down, grounding down through the sits bones, drawing the low back in and up. Inhale in. Exhale, release. And then unwind, straighten the leg. So we'll end in a seat today.
If you are craving Shavasana or legs up the wall, please do that. It's your practice. Just come to a cross-legged seat or on your shins, however you want to end. Let the hands just rest on the lap or on the knees. Nice tall spine. Close the eyes, soft jaw. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. A few more rounds like that. Maybe lengthen the breath even longer than the 4 counts. After your next exhale, bring the hands together at the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you so much for having the courage to show up today on your mat. And I will see you next time. Namaste.